understanding as much as I can and try to synthesize it for all of y'all today. So let's get into it. Let's meet the vaccines. There are about known 8 vaccines in around there. Okay. Okay, guys, there was some technical error, I was told. I'm also trying to figure this out. So apology again. So here is the thing, right? So we have to understand. So there are about 8 vaccines that indirectly or directly are getting. I think the one that is very famous in India is the Oxford AstraZeneca one and the Bharat Biotech Covaxin as the so guys, the first one is COVID Shield, the second one is Covaxin. The rest of them are very popular. The Pfizer well is very good, the Moderna one, and then the Chinese and the Russian, right? I think this was called Sputnik, if I'm not wrong, behind the whole Russia versus the US, and they were trying to be ahead. I'm glad to see there are 16 people. Wow. I would have never imagined even one, but I'm so glad to see you. So we're going to get into the crux of this together. What exists? So, लोग बोलते हैं ये efficacy होता क्या है? Right, the concept of efficacy, right? Vaccine efficacy is basically understanding the probability of it ensuring that it completely works in a defined audience set. So what it basically means that 95% of efficacy would mean that people have a potential of 95% of no COVID at all affecting them. But efficacy by itself does not mean a lower efficacy does not mean that it is not good enough for you to take it, right? So just to tell you all how this happens, normally when they do a efficacy test or a vaccine trial test, right, they would do a placebo. Placebo is nothing but think of it when they tell you it is some secret miracle water, but it's actually just regular water, and or so it's some. One of the best effects of placebo that I know is homeopathy, right? You actually don't know if there is anything in it. All of the sugar pills taste the same, and it has a major effect on it, right? Our bodies end up thinking what works for us. So think of placebo versus vaccine. So people who get a placebo vaccine, which basically is nothing that doesn't have the vaccine in it, and the rest of them do. Now, what happens is that there were cases in the placebo effect where people actually fell sick, they were hospitalized, even a few deaths happened. But for those people who got vaccinated, not even a single one was hospitalized or had a death. Hence, the objective of vaccination or efficacy of a vaccination is to avoid hospitalization so our healthcare systems are not challenged, which is the case today around the same. Or, unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of deaths around us, which is very, very unfortunate, or perhaps avoidable, given that we knew so much about it and we were so close to vaccinating at least the adult population, right? Or we could have been around the same. But having said that, the objective of a good vaccine is to avoid these two, right? If you have mild symptoms, like think about it, if you have a mild symptom of like a flu or a small fever, that's fine till the time you don't get sick to get hospitalized, challenge that, or unfortunately die around the same, right? So if you look at the vaccine efficacy, right? Yes, COVID Shield, there is a different numbers that are claimed from 70 to 75%, where Moderna and Pfizer claim 95%. But understand are not apple to apple comparison, right? There is multiple things that go into it. How you were able to test the same, right? So how you were able to, in the trial phase, look at testing the vaccine in general. And in some cases, the results could have come positive. Some cases, results could have come negative, slightly lower than this. But the objective is, does it stop you from hospitalization, or does that not cause death, unforeseen death around the same, which we're seeing, unfortunately. And it's very important to understand some of them. Again, I'm not a medical expert. I'm just trying to help you get this thing. Just demystify this. So please put your questions here and I'll start taking up as they come along. The same, right? So I thought I was doing the presentation all this while, right? Oh, please put your presentation on. I was talking from a present. See, this is what happens when you try to go live without the presentation being live. I thought I was sharing my screen and that was good enough to share it, but I'll try. I think I'll ask my colleague to just share the screen if you can. And I thought I was talking from the presentation and I'm sorry for the same. Please, Himang, can you just put the presentation on? हाँ तो okay. Sorry guys, I have perhaps messed this out really badly. So I'm just going to share my screen and hopefully y'all can see the hard work that we've been putting together. So here we go. View present. Great. This is classic newbie challenge that has happened right here. Please apologize for the same. Okay, I'm going to quickly go through this. I think these are the 8 vaccines that I was talking about. This is 95% of efficacy. As I was speaking, does not mean that there is a like a lower the efficacy does not mean the lower of potential of the vaccine working. As I was trying to say that there's a placebo effect and vaccine based thing, and uh, the choice of your vaccine is very important in that context. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly skip all of this and get to the point that I was trying to go. So again, the point that I was trying to make was that we have 2 options, right? No injections that none of us take injection, none of us have to take the injection. The other is no symptoms or moderate symptoms, right? We all would like to be in this bucket of this thing. What we want to avoid is serious symptoms, hospitalization, or death, right? That's where the challenge is. Now, all vaccines that have been tested for ensure that they help on at least covering these 3 scenarios, which is what the biggest objective of vaccine is. Hence, if it's above this ratio or above about 60-65%, it's considered exceptionally safe. And the reason you can't compare 2 vaccines because they are not typically the same in any format. Okay. So if you look at it from an efficiency perspective, right, all of these vaccines have ensured no death or hospitalization, which is a very important thing to go by. And that's why it's very essential to go by the same, right? So now, why should you get vaccinated, right? And that's the next question that almost every one of us have, is that there is an economic cost to it, right? And if you just look at vaccinating just half of the developing world, right, it would cost perhaps $4 trillion, right? Just basically multiplying an average cost of the number of people that exist around the same. But the economic cost of developing countries not vaccinating their citizens, right? And especially on time and at scale is a possible loss of $9 trillion. So I don't think from an economic standpoint, it is any rational thought to consider not getting vaccinated or not considering vaccinated as an option set around the same, right? So now, if you look at where the world looks like and where we are in this journey, right, the biggest vaccination campaign in history is underway today. This kind of vaccination campaign, which is a single vaccine that has been developed less than a year and inoculating at least the ambition to inoculate 7 billion people, has never happened. But think of it, more than 1 billion doses have already been given. Yes, some of them have been double dose, like the second dose and so on and so forth. But we are at an unprecedented rate that this is happening. And perhaps this is a testament to the scientists, the medical fraternity, even the logistics, the distribution fraternity that is ensuring that not just the research is happening, but the manufacturing and then the distribution of the same is happening at scale around the same. Okay, so now what's happening to the India numbers? And most of us are thinking, are actually doubting what suddenly happened, right? I don't think we're talking about a second wave. This is actually the second wall or the first wall that was created. Because if you look at the numbers, last year, if you compare to what we are at, this literally looks like a mini hump. But if you think of it, we went into lockdown last year, when we were only 500 cases, right? Between 300 to 500 cases when we went into lockdown and in complete national strict lockdown. Today we're at 3,23,000 new cases on a daily basis. And this is literally the best example of power of compounding. I don't think I can ever create a better example of how money can multiply. But unfortunately, money doesn't multiply in less than 20 days, except in Akshay Kumar's movies. But the fact that you have uh, it multiplying the way it does, we don't know where the end of this graph looks like around the same. Now, saying Hamara India #1, and I think we are getting there, because this spike is in about a few months' time, or even a few weeks' time, is going to look very, very different. It will become literally an orange wave, if that I can say that, across the board, right? So I hope you don't focus on the map, but focus on what's happened, right? This is a difference of what a month can do, right? And all of us can now question some of the religious activities that have been happening beyond, but the fact that the virus multiplies and multiplies its scale. And just if you look at it, right, there were only micro points, right? Punjab, Delhi, Maharashtra, maybe the urban centers in most of the cities. But now this is becoming not just an urban phenomena, but a national phenomena to go by across the board. Now, Maharashtra, for whatever reason, right now, if you look at the Maharashtra graph, it's the lighter orange. It was not done by the economist by choice or default, but obviously Indian lines are always orange now, or saffron. But if you look at just the Maharashtra line, right, it is fairly significant of the overall Indian context around the same. And this is uh, very scary for anybody living in Maharashtra, or even I believe Uttar Pradesh is the second one that is getting into concern sets. So this is something that we have to be psycho signed off. Yes, if you look at the American graph, it as it went up, it was able to come down, but and we're trying to hope that it happens, but it'll only happen if we are able to do the appropriate steps and start getting vaccinated at scale. And if you look at it, America started getting vaccinated towards February, and that had caused a decent fall into the American context. This is the graph comparing in India to some of the top other 5 countries around the world, and our numbers are truly to reckon with, right? America, if you look at it, is in the last 7 days has had 4 lakh total cases, where we have had 22, so 2.22 lakh cases around the same, and that's fairly significant around the same. A few interesting or important aspects to understand about the vaccine. There are 5 stages that it takes the vaccine from. There were 125 companies at different stages. Basically, there was a clinical testing. The phase 1 is a safety test. The second one is the expanded, which expands to humans, so means around the same. The third one is expanded. Then there is approvals in each of these countries. So if you look at which one during what stage got the approval, so we started with approximately 184 in the preclinical stage, phase 1, which is undergo test in healthy young individuals, people that are in their 20s or early 30s. Is the 31 vaccines at that stage, where it goes to a broader set. So they would now do it across gender, across age groups, across different forums also. So that's about 33 different vaccines are there. And phase 3, which is now ethnicity has a big role to it. Genetics has, like, so where you're born and how that plays also impacts your vaccine tremendously. So there are about 23 companies there. Currently, there are 13 in use that are approved now, but 4 are gone into the monitoring phase, right? Which is basically enough number of people have got vaccinated using that particular dose, which I believe is Moderna, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Bharat Serum, where they are now this thing. And I could be wrong about it, but that's what I at least remember reading this morning about the same. Uh, so, uh, so what are the ways to get registered? I think I'm hoping it opens at 12. I've got different figures that it might open tomorrow at 9, maybe open tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I'm not sure, but I thought I'll make it really simple. At least figure out for each of y'all, what can we do. One thing I realized that we all should download. So there are 3 options. I put it in my Insta post this morning. One is you could go to the cowin.gov.in, or you could go through Arogya Setu or download the CoWin app on your Play Store or on your App Store as such. So registration is based on OTP. Sometimes the OTP is a couple of seconds late, so just wait out. They give you a 3-minute window to put your OTP in. So just literally one of the ways to do it is sign up. I'll try doing it if that helps as of now. After I just take you briefly through this. One of the first screens comes, it gives you the option to choose between your driver's license, passport, Aadhaar, and one more thing, if I'm not wrong. You can put your license number or your Aadhaar number, whichever one you prefer. I'm actually in one of the questions that I actually have, that if I don't put my passport, do I have an option to travel? But I actually don't know. But I think Aadhaar seems the most ubiquitous, and I'll most likely put my Aadhaar number out there. And also because that address of my other licenses don't work. So right now it's not approved. So we're hoping that it is open to 12. I don't know if it will, but if it does, let's try registering it together. After that, what happens is you have to select your state, the state that you're currently at. It does not matter where your Aadhaar is from or where your registered address is. If you're having if you have an Aadhaar, driver license, or a passport, you can pretty much get yourself this thing. So you put the state, you put the district, you will get then a drop down option of your block and the pin code that you want to get vaccinated, and assuming you're taking something close to your home. Once you do it, you will get a confirmation of the appointment. You can download this as a PDF on your phone. Please ensure that you carry your original ID from which you registered. Also know that you can register up to 4 people on a given mobile number, right? So if you have 2 numbers, you can possibly do 8 people registration. One of my requests to all of y'all is that while we register our friends, family, um, anybody that we know, we should also register the people that help us make, the people that I normally refer them as the hidden India, the help at home, the gardener, the milkman. I think this is the time where, as India, we can come together and literally as an objective, right? If we don't want to donate money, we should help as many people register. One of the things that I keep on questioning, saying all of this is in English, how is majority of India going to register, right? Most of India does not even know how to read. While they can watch lots of YouTube video today, and that's amazing, but most of us don't know, and especially if this is in English or even in other language, reading is a challenge, and we as a community need to come together. I think this is our number one, this thing. I actually have a saying that if you do not want to vote, it's absolutely fine, but to get vaccinated is a necessity around the same. So there are a bunch of other features of CoWin, but before that go there, I would love to open it out to questions. Those people who want to come and ask me, I can take questions from the YouTube chat. But now, if anybody's on the Zoom link, feel free to unmute yourself, put your video on, say hi, and ask our questions around the same while I just read all the questions here. Yes. Yeah. Hey guys. Okay. I'm stop sharing till that time. So I can take the questions. Our registration, Antra asked, our registration expected to open tonight at midnight or tomorrow morning? Antra, actually, I don't know. I have tried to research this. I found a 9 o'clock option, a 12, or 4 o'clock tomorrow, or it might be 12 noon. I'm only hoping that's 12 tonight. I think this is perhaps like the minute I know it, I'll put it on my Instagram, so all of y'all know it as well. About the same. So I'll do that instantly. And one of my things is that I only worry that the OTP might not come through, like anything that in India that gets jammed. So try just registering and keeping your logged in at least a few minutes from before. Anyone has a question on Zoom? Otherwise, I'll take a few questions from here.
Hello, sir. I hope I'm audible. Hello.
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir. Sir, which vaccine would you prefer if you had an option to like select from the long variety we have present right now? Yeah.
We have only 2 varieties in India, right? So that's the 2 options that we have to choose from. Now, honestly, as I was saying, efficacy, like the whole question is about efficacy, right? Which one's better? Atmanirbhar is better, or this thing?
Covishield.
What our objective is that it should help us from avoiding hospitalization or death, right? And both enable that, right? Almost all vaccines around the world enable this, even the Chinese, the Russian, and so on and so forth. So my suggestion to you is, um, take anything that you get. Do not complicate this. I'm not the expert to it. Please speak to your doctor. At least a couple of them I have spoken to have said the same, that whatever you're getting, please take it up. I think we're just fortunate enough to get the same. I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
Happy to take a follow up on this if you'd like. There's a lot of background noise, so in case there is
No, no,
somebody
no.
else,
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. No, no issue.
okay. Okay, thanks. Till the time somebody has another question on Zoom, I'll take another question from the chat. So Krishna asked me, I know a couple of people who recently passed away despite being fully vaccinated. They're in the 70s. I'm wondering if that is an anomaly. Krishna, I'm exceptionally, sorry to hear that. And these are testing times for all of us. I actually not a medical expert, so I shouldn't be talking about is this good or not. I'm only talking from what I hear and I read, and 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 there is a possibility that this could happen, but honestly, from what the trials tell us or from whatever the data is publicly shared, it is, could be for other reasons. But yes, there are some challenges. But the question that I, at least the conversation that I'm sharing that we have in our home, like it's happening in most home, is that the risk of the comparison is a risk in the future of an unknown vaccination and what that happens to, or the context of risk today that that can happen to us today, right? So if the risk of falling sick or severely ill or even passing it to others versus of an unknown risk in the future, right? And that's literally, if you think about it, like this is exactly a money question that you also kept on asking, right? Saying in our heads that the risk of a known investment today or some future investment that we don't know, and this is always a conundrum. In my view, personally, for me and my family, we want to get vaccinated because I don't think any of us want to suffer the fate that many Indians are suffering as we speak about all of this, right? So again, this thing, please speak to your doctor. Please speak to anybody that you believe understand medicine and has the background to speak about it. I'm not the person. I'm just trying to put the data together, and that's what I'm doing. Any questions on the chat? I can see a couple of questions pouring in here. Um, so Rajneesh in the chat asked me, is there an option to choose vaccine in COVID, or we have to choose? So so you don't have an option. What I understand is you don't have an option to choose this vaccine. You can choose the center which will have a particular vaccine assigned to that particular center. And most of this is regionally divided. So typically in the same pin code, you won't have three options, or if you do, it'll be a particular center that will have. This is based on, again, on my knowledge, and it is not an option to you. But as I was saying, which vaccine it is not the challenge. The question is, do we get access to vaccine? And I think India is going to face the largest shortfall of vaccine because majority of India has been opened up. Most of India is between 18 to 30, right? And now you've opened 18 to 45 where we don't have enough vaccines for 45 plus as well. Can we take the dose in 3 to 4 days prior to the date? So if the question is, can we take doses in a gap of 3 to 2 days? I don't think so. What they earlier used to tell us was 4 weeks. Now the new guidelines are between 8 to 12 weeks, between the time between the two doses. That if I assuming that was your question, which you just messaged me. Okay, so let me take a couple of questions. Ira in the chat, Ira Narang had said, with the second COVID wave in full form, how safe is it to go to the hospital and get vaccinated? Don't want to bring the virus to my grandmother at home. I think it's a very, very valid question. I also asked this, and we discussed this at home as well. How do you avoid the same? Uh, uh, and I don't think we have an option there. My only thing, if you remember the early days of lockdown, all of us used to wear gloves. All of us used to wear not just single mask but double mask. So wear a medical mask and then wear an N95 on top, so that you double mask yourself. Carry a shield or a fully covered, the bicycle glasses that you might have, or anything that covers your eyes. Just ensure that you carry sanitizer of your own, just in case there is lack of something and you don't have to touch. Carry a couple of gloves if you want to, medical gloves around the same. I think it's time to, if you want to go to the hospital and you have to go to a particular center, it doesn't matter where you go. Even if you're getting a vaccination in partly open air, my suggestion is always wear a mask, cover your shield, and wear gloves to just avoid touching anything by mistake also. And hopefully that should what I've read should be enough as of now around the same. Tushar is saying he's waiting for his OTP. Is it 12? Tushar, so OTP can take a while. So I've tried to do a couple of options, right? You can also, every time I try to generate a password, it doesn't. So the only option is to go through the OTP method. My suggestion is keep the Arogya Setu app logged in, keep your CoWIN app on as well, and maybe on your computer, try accessing all the three at the same time and see which one goes through, right? So it takes, Shika asks, it takes 3 weeks to after the second dose for antibodies immediately develop in our bodies. Yeah, I'm not an expert here, so I would not not even try. Ask me a money question saying, Garang, if you put money in FD at a particular rate in 3 weeks or in 24 days, how much is it? I'll happy to answer that question for you, but maybe I'll avoid this one. Okay. Anybody in the WhatsApp chat or Zoom chat, sorry, questions that exist, happy to answer, happy to talk in any way about the same. If there are no questions, then I'll just finish my slide around the same. Arogya Setu mein OTP nahi aa raha hai. See, this is exactly what I'd assumed, that because so many Indians are logging in, and I'm glad they are in a way that I think the OTP system would have not been planned for this kind of scale and size. This is going to happen. I believe this will be our biggest challenge to get access to it. I think in Zoom chat, somebody asked me, by doing this meeting for free, you're doing, oh, thank you so much. I don't intend to, I just something thought that this is something that I was struggling with and I could share along with some of you and have this conversation as well along the way. So thank you for that kind message at your end. I will be doing these more often and will be keep on talking about it, at least on my Insta handle, where there are some people this thing. If you're like here, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I don't know how this will work out, but I'll try creating some interesting videos, which is just not vaccine, but other interesting topics that I'm interested in to understand and would love to understand the same with y'all. In case y'all can tell me in the chat, is there any particular questions, or do you want me to go through the slides, or just wait for the next 3 minutes and all of us try to log in and see if that works around the same? Ira again asked me, there is some criticism about the vaccine rate center. So there are 3 different rates. Thanks for Ira for mentioning on the same. So yes, there are 3 different rates. One is a center, one could be state. But if you know that, if I remember reading this correctly, 14 or 16 states in the country have made the vaccine for free, right? So if 14 to 16 states, so if you go to a government option, there the vaccine is for free. COVID Shield, which is the Serum Institute or the Oxford AstraZeneca one, is between 600 to 800 rupees for a single dose, and Covaxin is between 1100 to 1200 for a single dose. So the total cost is 1600, 2400. If you want to save, happy to save this together. I think if some of us are facing that challenge to this thing, we have to find ways to get ourselves. If we can spend time on YouTube, we can go get ourselves vaccinated, or collect this money for us and for other people in our family. It's very essential that we do that, because if we are able to do that, we're able to build herd immunity. Okay, so before this thing, I'll quickly share my screen, if you allow me, this thing, and I'll just talk about a couple of quick things that I found in a great this thing. It will not take me more than a couple of minutes to go through this with y'all. And so, okay, why should we get vaccinated? It creates herd immunity. It brings the economic growth back in place. Some of the people who say the side effects, my arm is hurting, my throat will be sore, my cat was sick, right? These are all excuses. Please go get vaccinated. Take everybody along with you, as many as do. Is there a risk? There is a risk in breathing. That's honestly the risk outside today. There's a risk in breathing without your mask. So probability of downside or the severity we are facing this today. Last but not the least, that the development process is fairly stringent. This is a miracle that we have created today, and we should be thankful that we have an option. There's enough evidence of the vaccine working. Eh, eh, The most important is to understand safe herd immunity, where people together, right, as a group, are able to come together and create herd immunity. So even the few that who have not caught the vaccine are not going to contract the virus as such. So there are obviously lots of conspiracy theories about COVID and a lot of fake news. Please verify the news, speak about it to people, because health is money, and that's a well-known mantra around the same. So hold on for dear life and get yourself vaccinated, right? So hopefully that should conclude this thing. Let's if I can Himang, can you see my screen? I'm not sure if my screen is the one visible on the same. Okay, great. Because so I will just open out the let's open the Covin covin.gov.in. I actually got confused because I have the other thing playing here and I got mistaken. This is early newbie into YouTube. It'll take me a while. Okay, let's get register yourself. Let's see if this works. I fingers crossed if it does. I might not get the OTP. If anybody is getting the OTP, please let me know around the same. I can't see my, yeah. If anybody's, okay. Pratik here said that the OTP is coming. Here's for some of y'all who will get to know my number. What the hell, why not? But please don't bombard me, guys. Okay, let's hope that I've been able to receive the OTP. Oh, I got the OTP. It comes, guys. Let's do this. 955. Okay, it's working. So for those people who are not trying, but maybe that is not working, again, you will get to know my details, which I did not think this through clearly. But so my mobile number is now in
Just
public
try to
domain.
enter the year of birth. You don't have to give out. Yeah, that if it's allowing. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
it's
not
not
allowing.
open yet. So okay. Thanks for this. Who is this? I'm not sure. Sorry. Hi.
Hi,
Uh,
Devdeep. Yeah.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for saving me to reveal my Aadhaar number to the public today. Uh, but great. Okay. So I think it's not working. So maybe 12 o'clock wasn't the thing. I hope that will happen. It'll happen tomorrow. The first thing that I'll do is I'll take screenshots of it and post it on Instagram so that y'all can see it. And maybe if y'all want, I'll come back again on YouTube and try showing the experience all over again. Um, I'm just glad that 42 of y'all were able to come join. Any questions that I have missed or would like you to answer, happy to do so. I can see like really, really close friends like Antra and Tushara supporting me on this. So thank you for that. Yes, Himang. Hmm. Superb. Thanks. This is awesome. This is a great hack. I actually will if this thing. So please go use the website versus trying to do this on the app uh, around the same. So clearly registration is not open. Yeah. So no. So the hack that Goni told us or Himang here told us was that try using the OTP on the website. It works better than the one in the app around the same. So this thing, I'll take the last couple of questions. Uh, some Okay. So another question here is: don't you think Moderna or Pfizer should be allowed, as 2 to 4 crore people can afford a bit expensive vaccine as Pfizer is ready to supply to India. If you ask my personal opinion, I think they should allow every vaccine that has been used by another large country, which they've also done their clinical trials and approved the same. But I'm sure there are some challenges that must be there, or there are political or economic considerations that are this thing. But yes, all the 4 approved vaccines around the world or more should be available, and I don't see why we should not at least have an option to choose and go and get there. Question that Parmar asked me, isn't the government supposed to provide vaccines for free to everyone? Government is providing. I'm not trying to present one this thing. At least the government is claiming that it is now. We will get to know. I also have not gone to an hospital to check it, but they're saying but that will only happen in government hospitals specifically. Um, Updates on Sputnik, Priyam asked me, and also India refusing the Chinese vaccine. Why India is refusing the Chinese vaccine? I don't have to tell you. I think it's a self-explanatory in today's times why that is the case. But I think the Russian should be like, because we've always had good relationship, but I'm sure there's a good reason for this, or there has been a misunderstanding or misplanning in some form of fashion. But the fact that there's a lot of unknowns that everyone's dealing with, I think we should spend our time, while we should criticize and do what we knew to exercise our basic right, but the bigger context is wherever it's available, how many ever people we can help to get oxygen cylinders, help people get beds, or help anybody in need. But more importantly, the easiest thing we can do is help people register for the vaccine, at least 4 people, up to 4 people per number around the same. I'll take one of the last few questions. Will there be a fixed date allocated to go and take the doses after registration? It's a great question. I think you get a particular time slot, and you have to go in that time slot. I would suggest take a leave from office. It's worth that leave, no matter how important that work is. Can happen few hours before or late in the night. If that is the case, you've got a particular slot, you have been lucky to do so. So please go, and there might be a large line. So prepare, maybe carry some food with you, carry some water, something to drink if it's hot outside. Ideally, maybe take an umbrella so that you're not this thing. So go well prepared, to not to have a picnic, but to be well prepared so that you have a small goodie bag, as well as protection from the sun and lots of water around the same. Couple of more questions here, and let me know if I'm missing out on the YouTube one, but I'll just pick it up from Zoom here that is coming along. Paddy asks us, do you know that India informally denied the supply of vaccines to England and Bangladesh, for which they paid before, so that these countries have to move towards China? I'm actually not aware of this, so I won't comment here about this. Rajneesh Kumar asks, Johnson and Johnson vaccine is good to go because it's only a single dose. Yes, it will create less burden on the vaccine system, because yeah, absolutely. It's like, literally think of it. Today, you're not even getting vaccinated once, right? You're literally trying to vaccinate every nation twice over, right? Theoretically, you're trying to do 15 or 14 billion vaccine doses, right? That's a astonishingly hard might to achieve. But the fact that we got till creating a vaccine in such a record time, now we have got to vaccinate such a large proportion, right, of not just the India population, but around the world. I think I have faith that we will, it will take 6-8 months, but we will get there. I think the bigger challenge after vaccinating India, some of the developed markets would be looking towards how to vaccinate Africa, how to vaccinate South America, and so on and so forth, where vaccine is not even started reaching in any way form, right? So if you take a larger global view, but it will take a while, and we have enough challenges in India by itself to get there. Please know these are my personal views. I don't intend to this thing. I'm just trying to have this conversation so that each of us can learn, adapt from the same. Paddy again puts a question. My mom took the vaccine. She is COVID positive. Till now, she's been having severe fever, but no medication required. Till now, not sure of the future. I truly wish, Paddy, that your mother becomes absolutely healthy in a very short time. I think you should stay in touch with your doctors around the same, right? Our objective here is, unfortunately, I'm not a medical background at all from my context. My context was to put the data together, help as many people know about the registration process. And hopefully tomorrow we can come and do the registration live as well. Have they increased the duration between the two shots? To my best of my knowledge, they've increased the duration from 4 weeks earlier to 8 to 12 weeks now. It's best to ask again the doctor or the person at the center when you're getting your dosage for the first time. So vaccination for the time. So that could be it. I think I have covered almost everybody's questions. And uh, I'm I hope this was helpful in any way. I'll try to put a link to this presentation if anyone wants to have access to on the same uh, around the same. Um, Hope this was helpful to do this late at the night, but I just was thought if in case is open at 12 and then we all can at least start the process. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been, I made a bunch of mistakes, started presenting without the presentation, but I think that's part of me learning around the same. Wish you all the very, very best. And I hope you all get vaccinated and try getting as many number of people, at least learn about the registration process so that they can do the same and make their own decisions at their own time. So thank you so much. I'm going to be calling it off. Thanks.